All right. Welcome to Simulation Talk 206. I don't think there's anyone here yet because today we started out of the blue. I'll notify people. We wait for a few people to show up because I'm literally talking to myself. Top users 7200 613 1566. That's a good number. Time Travel Tim is in the house. Jay Goat, how are you? Guru Augie. People starting to trickle down. Trickle in. People. There's economy people. I'm glad to hear. Deft 001. How are you? Oh yeah, getting you laser fired up tomorrow. I'm excited. It'll be fun to hear what comes out of it. Today it's going to be a very, very quick live. Just because I want to say happy weekend. But today I'm going to take it easy. Isabel, how are you? Share with the chat. What are we sharing with the chat? Gary 3, Walters. How are you, Gary? Good to have you, brother. 01 is in the house. Hello, everyone. Same name. Blue Rooster 76. How are everybody doing tonight? Pakistani Pilot, how are you, brother? Good to see you. What are my views on SEX? I don't know. I think I'm a little confused by the question. What are my views? What is that? In what context? For it or against it? What was the question? Hello from Florida. What's up, Mark? Great days, long days, interesting days. How are everybody doing tonight? I'll try. Today would be a really quick one. If anybody has particular questions, we can do a lightning round. Again, I'm usually these chats are for the audience, so I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible, even if they're obviously repeating a lot, which is fine. But if you have any particular questions that you want me to answer that are not too deep, we can address them today. Just because today, again, I'm gonna keep it pretty short. Gary, I'm glad that you joined us. Is this the first live of mine that you're seeing, or? Beautiful fun saying my eyes still hurt. 20 milliwatts laser. That's why I keep saying, guys, listen, we're all adults here. It says it very clearly on our website and everywhere else. Never ever go above 5 milliwatts ever. I would recommend do 1 milliwatt. And those are powerful enough, believe me. 20 is crazy. I hope you're okay. How SEX relates to spirituality? I mean, very strongly, obviously. Pakistani pilot said most people either think it's either detrimental or very helpful for spiritual development. So it depends on how you use it. From a Buddhistic perspective, it's definitely not detrimental, but it's definitely an impediment because it's a big source of attachment. Thank you for the gift, by the way. I appreciate you. Oh, donuts. I like donuts. So if you get attached, according to the Buddha, attachment is suffering. So SAX is a thing that is very easy to get attached to and addicted to even. And because of that, it might be in your way of salvation or in your way of enlightenment. But as many of you probably know, there are practices like Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra is a book. But um, all the tantric practices basically treat sex as energy, because it is. It's a very powerful energy, and it's a way to move energy in the body in a way that can also culminate in the physical action of sex. But ultimately, it's about the energy. It's about how do you maneuver, control the energy, how do you recognize the different kinds of energies in the body, how it expresses itself between the different SEXs, between the different individuals, how it relates to your own spiritual evolution, how it relates to your traumas, like all of that stuff. So in that sense, you can actually, almost like when you inject a dye into your body to recognize when there's a certain pattern happening. It can give you an outline of what's going on. Working with it is difficult because it's a very powerful energy, and it's very easy to kind of lose yourself in it. But with enough practice, it's possible to develop pretty powerful spiritual developments through working with these powerful energies. So it can be either or. But yeah, it's actually a good question. What's up, Nisha? Good to have you. Um, any other tryptamines to make it viewable? Great question. We know mushrooms work. We know Aya works, and we now know 5-MeO. We now know 5 works. We're not supposed to say the full thing. I think it's probably the easiest and first way a lot of people have minor ego death. I don't know. I think that it might be actually difficult for most people because it's very easy to lose yourself in that kind of practice. I don't know if you get a lot of ego death from it. I think you get a lot of ego from it, from interacting with SCX. I know, right? Yeah, I know. 2 CB, I'm not sure. I haven't tried. Something tells me that you should be able to see something, but I don't know because we haven't tried it. SEX, not AX. SEX. I can't say the word because of TikTok because they're crazy. What would Terrence Howard do? That's very funny. Probably go on Joe Rogan and talk nonsense. I'm still working on it, but it's like causing me a weird mental loop if I look at it too long. Hmm. How would you suggest a highly sensitive person prepare for first time with a molecule this person has had bad experiences with other DRUGs? I can see the code on Zoomies. You mean like dog Zoomies? That's really funny. Um, that I don't know. That's a very important question. How would you suggest a highly sensitive person prepare for the first time with a molecule? I would say first do it only with professionals, somebody who's really good at guiding people, not just people who have done it themselves many times, but somebody who is experienced in guiding people through it. Those are two different skills. It might be that it's not for you. That's also an option, but that's a possibility. It's very important to know that it's not for everybody, and there's no need to play with it if it feels like it's too much. And but if you choose to do so, I would say first go with a professional, somebody who's really good at guiding people, and forget about the laser. Just do get acclimated with the molecule, what it's capable of, create the right container. Let's start there. Then you can talk about, doing other things. But that will be first thing on the agenda. Bradley, how are you, brother? Good to see you here. Yes, going to the airport soon. It's amazing. You saw the text that I texted you? Do it and sign up for the Vipassana today. Don't postpone it. You'll feel much better about yourself. Oh, yeah, good mental health space is very important, Guru. I would agree. Thank you for the gifts, Pakistani pilot. Worst psych you ever tried? Oh, without a doubt, Salvia. Salvia is the worst. Since Rogan spoke about you recently on the last Fine Companion podcast, have you been in contact with him or young Jamie to get on the show? No, not yet. Pretty sure that eventually it will happen. I just did an episode with Eddie Bravo on his podcast. Look into it, and it's on Rumble right now, and it's going to be released on YouTube in about a couple of weeks. I understand, but it was a good conversation with Eddie. It was really nice. Thank you for asking, Carmine. I'll stop calling it. Once being on shrooms, I thought I was dead, and I can't say these words too many times on TikTok. 100 times and 100 times in a time loop. Tried breaking free from it through the window. Yikes. Well, clearly you're okay. Wait, you actually jumped from the window? Eddie is the goat. Eddie's a wild man. You beg to differ about what? About salvia? Yeah, some people like it. Are you talking about chewing it or smoking it? Because smoking it, I don't get it. You hope I get on Joe Rogan? Yeah, it would be nice. There's no question about that. Because I love salvia. Is Alison Gray's code accurate? Yeah, it seems like these codes appear, but it's not what we see in the laser, by the way, just to be clear. The Alison Gray characters are not what we see in the laser. Japanese mixed with Hebrew, not Egyptian, I would say. Definitely not Egyptian. Wait, what? Got stuck in a window. Oh my god. Go J Goat. What was so bad about Salvia? Every time I tried it, it basically felt like you walk into a store, you pay $5, you get punched in the face, and then you leave. That's basically what it was. Breezy saying, I watched it, Yasha Bach and Andres Gomez and Mish Emerson today. That was a great recommendation. Yeah, wasn't it a great conversation? Isn't it amazing to watch how intricate some of these conversations can be? So deep and profound. Amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Code yesterday, and I incorporated your plus pattern from the laser, and it created a thing. And Aleph was a symbol, and numbers the dirt road. Wait, Aleph was a symbol, yeah, and numbers the dirt. What is the dirt road? I don't get it. But yeah, Aleph is definitely there that I'm seeing it sometimes. No, never tried it with L goat. Would be nice to know if it works with it. So if anybody tries, please let us know. Amazing guru. Oh yeah, come join our Discord. It's on my YouTube channel. The third link from the top. You will see it. Our Discord channel. Come join it. So you were saying actual symbols and characters that you can discern, but not easily transcribe. So you can see them clearly, but there's so much information that it's very difficult to catch what's going on because it's also changing all the time. So you can kind of capture snapshots, But and people did this, but again, I maintain that these are kind of like approximations. They're not really what you actually see. What you see is super complex. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that if we are to discern anything of meaning, we're going to need to be able to record directly from the cortex. But I mean, it's a work in progress, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it actually is impossible to use it for band just because it has certain safety mechanisms. Like it's not going to open up for you to use for band things. Large discussion about hyperbolic geometry. It's not just you're talking about what Andres Gomez said. No, it's not just hyperbolic geometry. There's extremely complex language in there, and it is not on the surface. It is in. Yeah, yeah. I think it's more the way it appears. It just looks completely real. That's the best thing I can say about it. It does not look like a hallucination or something like that. It looks like a regular object that you would look at, like some kind of a side of a thing, and it has a life. It's unfolding. It's not so much the characters that convinces you, even though the specificity of the characters does do some heavy lifting. It's what the whole structure is in its totality. No, the language does not change no matter how high you are. It's always the same thing. Surfaces, substances, people, times, makes no difference. It's the same code. Literally, it's clearly the same code. Sorry, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I'm kind of trying to understand. Sure. What are you specifically trying to understand? So, a few years ago, I discovered that if you project a diffracted laser on the surface and you ingest a spirit molecule, you will see code running where you're projecting the laser. That's essentially what we're talking about right now. We are in a simulation. To me, that's not a if, it's just like 100% at this point. It's just that what we mean by simulation has to go through a certain reform. It's much more than what we think it is. But yes, it is a computationally rendered environment. That is for sure the case. And no, not just in the sense of your brain is rendering it, which of course would be the case either way. Saying, no, there's like we're running on a substrate, and that substrate is some kind of a advanced civilization that's running it. Whatever enhancement someone tries, you should start with microdosing so you're not losing tripping ball. Absolutely, would fully second that. Skinny, thank you for that. Sid is saying that's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that these structures are almost like self-organizing or changing, but you're finding some sort of recurrence. That's crazy. Yes, but again, the thing that really stands out about it is not even that. It's just how matter of fact it is. It's just there. It's just like if I would show you, I don't know, like a cloth or something, right? So imagine, okay, so imagine it's very difficult, if not impossible, to deliver with words. But the best a simile is that you know how when you're looking through a microscope, the world in the microscope, what you're seeing in there, doesn't resemble anything we have on a macro scale, right? It's like microbes and like weird things and moving around and all that stuff. So it doesn't really look like anything we have here, but it's a real world. It's just existing in a scale that you haven't seen before. So when you're looking through a microscope, you like see a thing that is really there. Would it make sense to say, wait, but is it your brain playing tricks on you and it kind of thinks, you think that something is there, but it's not? Well, no, it's kind of like that. It's like you're looking through you're like peeping through a window into a whole new world that looks completely real with super high def resolution, and it would be as real as, I don't know, me holding a cloth like this. Like you would see a hand, but like this real. That's what stands out about it. It's not so much the details are part of what convinces you, but it's the fact that it looks so real. And it's not just the surface. It's like you're looking into this some kind of a world in there. Thank you so much for the gifts, guys. Thank you, Vilaikon. Nico, how are you, my brother? So good to see you. Exhibica, I see lights different than others. If you can expand on that. Familiar with Max Tegmark? Yes. Talking about the mathematical universe. Just listening, trying to understand. Last stream you mentioned it, but it's interesting. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you're joining. What's up, Nico? Outside of the spectrum, remote sensing through light. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. No, we are socialized to believe and accept that data. It may be right or wrong, but we accept it. Laser 650. Yes, but you can use any frequency. It's just that 650 nanometers is one of the lowest frequencies from the visible spectrum. So it's easier to spend time with. If you do higher frequencies, green, blue, it'll be very difficult for you to look at it because it will eventually give you a headache. Ebony, how are you? So good to see you. There you go, J Goat. Is the Aleph backwards for you? No, I think it's regular. But honestly, I don't know how anybody can catch that. It's like it's so small and it's moving all the time. So I can say it's kind of there, but like I don't really know if it's an Aleph. You're gonna need to freeze frame, record, print it out, look at it carefully. That's not. Otherwise, it's not possible. I can see rainbows and what looks like other dimensions in other forms of light come out when I end the light against a black screen. Interesting. Yeah, against darker surfaces definitely helps. Do we just have the knowledge of seeing the code? But but how can you study this? Working on it. It's a difficult question. Difficult question. I think we won't be able to until we have something that can record directly from our cortex. So like a Neuralink or something. But maybe we can come up with some methods before. Maybe we can make it visible without the molecule with some kind of an external device, and then we can run the data through some kind of a AI of some sort. But this is what we're going to enter into a very contentious territory now in this century because people, as you can see, people who do not understand what AI does give it a little bit too much credit for things that it might not be able to do. So we're being fooled because the AI is just kind of trying to give us output. But if you don't understand what the AI is doing, it's only as helpful as much as you understand what it's doing. Let's just put it that way. I have 600 laser. I hit a prism from and been doing it for probably 8 years. What is happening with the prism with the laser after you put it through a prism? You can always join our Discord, Macarino. We have a lot of people exchanging ideas, and I'm there. So yeah, come join our Discord. The link is on my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, Dango Thoughts. The third link from the top on my main YouTube page. You'll see our Discord. Come join it. I think simulation is a bad terminology for me. There are just different hierarchical planes, but we're all still one. Yeah, but the simulation does not negate any of this. It just means computationally rendered environment, which the world functions on computational rules, for sure. Even if you think it's spiritual planes, they still operate under computational rules. So computation is much broader than what we understand it is. No, I understood the 650 laser and using prism for 8 years, but the laser is already coherent light. So nothing is technically like the prism cannot break the laser light because it's already one frequency. So what is happening to the light? What is the significance of the prism in this case? What causes a lighter be able to see the spectrum, the different colors in a light, like a beam? You asking or you saying? Or you saying that's what they should study? Simulation does not imply separation from the universe. I understand how people can think that just because the movie The Matrix did a lot of work in making us feel like the matrix and simulation means prison. um the truth is that there's also a lot of stuff kind of that our culture currently believes that is simply false, which is has to do with technology means separated from nature, which of course it isn't, because it is nature. Everything that happens is nature. And this idea that we have makes that belief very salient to us. But of course, it's not the case. It's just information evolving throughout all the levels, all the directions. So it's not that this world is fake, it's that the real world is computational. And what we discovered when we discovered how to use computation is just the tail end of that function, but it's much larger than what we understand. So it is the actual world. The actual world is computational. What we live in is actually the dumbed down slice of reality that is part of a larger computational space. And in that sense, the word simulation just means a slice of reality. But I understand how the confusion can arise. A lot of people think the word simulation means fake because when we simulate something, we imply that we're taking something that we know, which we think of as real, and we make it we run it through a computational model that then makes a copy of it, so we consider it less real. But if reality itself is computational, it's this thing that we thought what was real is actually only a small part of the more real computational space. So when we bring it back, so when we compute it, we're actually putting it back into the original language it came from. We just didn't know we were doing it because we thought this was real, and whatever we made with computation was less real. But it's just a confusion of ours, not the other way around. And there's a book called Reality Plus by David Chalmers that in which he's trying to disentangle this confusion by replacing the word, explaining and replacing the word from simulated environments to digital environments, which helps a little. But the point is, simulation does not mean fake. It just means computationally rendered. And because of the universality of computation, which is way more universal than the laws of physics, even implies that there's a higher function here. Yeah, we brought up that certain camera lenses might be able to capture it, but we have not substantiated that yet. So a lot of research needs to be done still. Photographic memory, for the most part, is not a real thing. People claim that they have it, but the whopping majority of humans that claim they have it, they don't actually have it. It's a very rare condition that maybe, I don't know, 5 people on the planet has. And it's not really reliable to trust something like that because you need a much more robust sample rate. You need to be able to record it. You might be able to get something from a couple of individuals who can do this, but finding them is very difficult. And usually they're savants, which means they can't really do anything else but this, which means they cannot really communicate to you very well. You can maybe copy it, but oh yeah, we did definitely a bunch of stacking of the lasers. What causes certain people see spectrum colors out of the light? I don't know. That's a great question. Nico, love you, brother. Thank you so much for the gift. If you stack lasers on top of each other, yeah, we did that. Are we about to have a discussion about the semantics of God? No, I think it's about the essence of God, not the semantics of God. Do you still want your God to look like Agent Smith? Thank you so much, Evil Icon. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the gifts. Thank you for the roses. Um, well, Hugo Weaving, the guy who played Agent Smith, is an acting god, so it tracks. He's the one that made the movie, honestly. If you think about it, the most powerful scenes are the ones that he is in it. There's a reason for that. He is the most incredible actor in this film. I'm glad we agree, Pakistani pilot. Thank you, Evil Icon. Even if he amount of true information and exists because of the entropic principle. I think entropic principle is actually a result of, not the reason for. Simulation debate is a debate about the semantics of a God debate deep down. I'm not sure that's entirely true. So true, it's ingrained in us to think simulation means false reality. It's a shame. Everything doesn't exist unless observed. All right. All right. Morpheus was good. And that speech is my favorite speech of all time. But there's no comparison to Hugo Weaving's performance across the board. Trying to go back to the comments, guys. Oh, Sofa King, how are you, my brother? Whoa, so many comments. Has anyone with aphantasia tried the experiment? Yeah, me. I have aphantasia. Wow, there's so many comments. I'm trying to go back. I feel like it's possible that while the bad may be unable to see it, they attempt to discern others say, yeah, no. Yo. I love this one, Pakistani Pan. Thank you. So awesome. I hear you. You see it. Do you think that we're actually extending that perceivable spectrum, or the characters are just manifestation of what is there, still constrained by our lens? That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what is being expended. That's the truth. Come join our Discord. I'm gonna keep reminding you guys. Ebony shared it. There are studies that support that aphantasia is caused by lack of exposure. So if you've never seen a tree, you can't visualize or believe it exists. I think it's more than that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip some of these comments because there's just too many for me to go through, guys. I mean, molecule experience recently, like saw 20 different versions of the person sitting next to me with different expressions, body languages. One version laughing. That's wild. That's amazing. That is insane. That's our website, codeofreality.com, if you want to check it out. Thank you, Ebony, for sharing the actual link. What game were you playing? In the Zone, baby. Wonder how many simulation deep down are we in? I think it's an infinite number, so it's kind of hard to say. Do you believe in oracles like in the Matrix? I think an oracle would have to be a real function. You cannot go without it. Can you explain what you mean by about the entropic principle? Yeah, entropic. I would say that the second law of thermodynamics, I would say, is an expression of the underpinnings of interaction of available energy in the universe. It's not the result of. I think that this thought that people have that it is the explanation is the product of the shut up and calculate era in physics, where people just thought that what the answer that you get from a mathematical equation and the regularities that you see are the answers, the explanations as to why things happen, when the explanation is a general frame of what actually causes things to arise, not just the next step, but how does it all fit together. And that, I think, is a confused statement that a lot of physicists repeat, but it's just simply wrong. Pose of a simulation, wouldn't a smarter being have the capability of predict our outcome behavior? They're not trying to. The whole point is to allow a simulation to unfold and see what happens. The whole point is to actually see what would happen if you give it free range. That's the whole point of it. And there is something called computational irreducibility, which means that there's certain computational processes you simply cannot circumvent. You cannot shorten them. The only way to know what happens is to run the full process. And that is the world that we find ourselves in. Sounds like you have kind of Taoist perspective on math. Not sure what that even means. You're gonna have to explain a little more, Pakistani pilot. I definitely believe in the way of the Tao. I don't know how you're referring. What are you connecting it to in mathematics? Will give scientists power. Nico is saying, I believe AI will give scientists power back to philosophers, which Neil argues they lost in. Yeah, I guess I can see that. What's up, Walter? You and Nagalism, for that period of homelessness before you met your fiance, how were you able to sustain yourself? Small gigs here and there. I would do like a production gig, and then I would stretch the money for over a very long period of time. Thank you for asking. Oh, I don't mind your questions being simplistic at all, Nisha. It's just the way I answer. Sometimes it sounds a little dry, but I do not mean it to sound that way, and I appreciate your questions. So please don't stop asking them. What is your view of evil? Is it a positive, negative property? Yeah, basically. The way that I see it is that evil, or what we call evil, is basically the shorter the circuit is, the more you can define it as the dark. The longer arc it is, the more open-ended it is, the more what you can call the light. And these are overly simplified terms, obviously, but it's actually the combination of the two is what you want, because if you have too much open-endedness, nothing happens. If you have too much rigidity, too much structure, then it just becomes too rigid to ever change. So you want a perfect flow of the two, something that is unweaving and the other thing that is trying to bring it together into something, and together you have a perfect cycle, masculine and feminine, open-ended, close-ended, right? And if you think about it, so basically you would have, the more you only care about everything that has to do with shorter vision, like just me, the more evil it is, right? The more you extend the blanket of care, the longer arc it is, the longer the plan that includes more individuals, more beings. Okay, it's more good, right? It's more light. Now, these are again are oversimplified because it's not like you just want to aim for the light and reject all the dark, because they're both weaving reality. And if you're going to reject one of them, you're going to have a situation where nothing happens, or nothing happens because of two different reasons, because too open-ended, too close-ended, right? Both of these things. In the end of the day, you have to close the cycle somewhere to make something happen. That's the job of the dark side, right? Also, it has a lot of creative force. Again, all of these are like super simplistic, but if you notice something in the yin yang, the the each one of them, so the white part has a black circle in it, and the black part has the white circle in it. What it tells me is that the light contains the ultimate darkness, and the darkness contains the ultimate light, and that's exactly their power over each other, and that's how it goes. So because of that, there's never a simple answer to anything, because it depends on the situation, what needs to be done in that instance. You want to be peaceful, but if it gets to a point where somebody is showing up into your house and is trying to, you know, do something very bad to your family, it is actually a good thing that you're going to stand up for that individual, and you're not going to let them do that, right? So it really depends. Reality unfolds. Things are never that simple. I just was watching your Eddie Bravo podcast. It's very compelling. You're a great storyteller. Thank you so much, Neo. I appreciate that. Should use that as your highlight video showcase first timers. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a good conversation. I really enjoyed the conversation with Eddie Bravo. Do you think there's columns if we diffracted a certain way? Not sure what you mean by that, Daft. What are your thoughts on Jesus Christ? Be honest. I think that's what I said on Eddie. At this point, it's clear to me that that was all real, and I again, because I saw that it's part of a larger picture, I can't shake that off either. There's like a larger story beyond that, but for all intents and purposes, you definitely want to. Let's just say that just live a good life. Thank you, Pakistani pilot. Just live a good life. It's that simple. Christians will insist, no, you have to accept Jesus Christ. Live a good life, and don't worry. Just have good intentions in your heart. Help other people. The right thing will find you. And if it's true that you have to accept Jesus Christ, if you live a good life, there will be enough of a situation where it will be obvious what you need to do next. If that's what you have to do, that's what you're going to do. It's not going to be imposed on you, or you're not going to need to be convinced of that. It would happen naturally because you're following the way of Christ, which is way more important than just believing in the concept. I have like an idea about this myself. The wobble, sort of analogous to so many expressions of this, the in between, the interference between. I've been looking for people to talk about it. So I really appreciate your information and all the work you've done. I just wanted to say thank you. And I appreciate you too, Sid. Thank you so much for the kind words. Kabbalah has a lot of very deep wisdom in there about how to live a good life. This is why I'm saying these concepts. I shared this clip by Alan Watts the other day, which I really like because it's very profound. I'm going to share it here again. It's worth it. And the reason it's so profound, if you listen all the way from the beginning to the end, I'm going to share it on YouTube. Everybody should go to Dengo Thoughts and you can see the link. There you go. Where he talks about the nature of God and our perception of it. And what he ends with, there's I'm just going to tell you, but the ride there is fun, is that all of these attempts that humans make to visualize God, project an image, the father figure, the mother figure, as he says at the end, behind the father figure, behind the mother figure, there's something that is so ineffable and beyond comprehension. And it's not just aggrandizing words. The point of that is all of the images that we throw at it are by necessity not just inadequate, but they are a way of our minds to actually not fully believe. Because true faith, true belief requires trust. So if you trust that God is already perfect and God is what it is, you must trust the fact that everything is already in its place. And if that is the case, you don't need to bother yourself with the images that you make of it. It is already what it is. So then you just live with the trust that what needs to be delivered will be delivered. You do your part by living the best version of what makes sense to you. And you make sure that you aim towards all the things that your essence, your body knows are the right moves for the greater good of all. Try and extend charity, try and extend generosity, be kind to other people. All of these things that sound super trite because we repeat them again and again and again, they're all true because we know, we feel it inside. It's not, you don't need to logically explain or justify to anyone. How do you know? People get into these debates. They're like, well, how do you know without Christianity what's good or bad? Well, that's nonsensical. You know inside, but at the same time, there might be truth to it, but it's not why you know. You know because it's an innate you are aligned with certain things in the universe that are correct, and you're gonna the other things in the universe are gonna try and spin you out of control, and that's their job, and that's okay. Your job is just to trust and to live your best moment in the little blimp that you're experiencing right now. A line that I really love by Terence McKenna is, we are a mystery suspended between two eternities. I think it's exactly right. We are a mystery suspended between two eternities. And in that instance, it's a window, it's an opportunity to go beyond. But the only way to do that is to truly trust what is unfolding. The second you make an image, a father, a mother, this, or that, the details of that, right? That shows that you don't fully trust it, because you, no, but I need to understand, like, but how did that happen? How are you justifying this or that? Wake up in the morning, live the best day you possibly can. Try and extend, if you're lucky enough to have enough for yourself and for your family, see what you can do to help others. It's not a bad idea, God or no God. If you do it that way, I think it's pretty guaranteed that you're going to live both the most fulfilled life you can, and most likely you're going to feel pretty safe, but towards the end of it. Yeah, most people overlook the nuts. Really, exactly. Like the letter split. Sorry, Def. It's a little vague for me here. If you can just put it on Discord, I can look at it. Alan was the inventor of light bulbs. Is very good. Very proud of that one. And a new analogism saying, I have a Christian background, but I've extensively researched Judaism for 5 years now, rigorously. Yeah. I mean, again, they all kind of combine the wisdom, but it's about the lived experience of the wisdom, not just the, rabbinical thought in Judaism or, deeper thought in Christianity or Islam. It's not about that. It's about the living instance of it. That's the thing that matters, is how you execute this kind of life. You got it, Yoni. Yeah, there is something to religious pluralism, but no, I would not say that across the board it's even. There's some religions that, depending on the time they arise, they do more harm than good. That is also the case. Christ represents the messianic. I know you have the Israeli programming or rejecting the image, grave image, and imposing due to history. No, I actually don't have that. I never felt attached or connected to any ideology at all. So I actually don't have that. I don't have a predisposition on any of these things. I rely only on my personal experience and what I've seen myself in hyperspace, and it was expressed to me clearly. Only that is the stuff that I'm talking about in this way. I'm actually not attached to any ideology whatsoever. For all intents and purposes, my deepest practice is vipassana, so closer to Buddhism. And from that practice, I can tell you that a lot more of the lived part of it tracks for me in terms of just putting your best foot forward in every given moment. That is the thing that beyond it, nothing can be more true. That is very clear to me. But it has nothing to do with the ideologies at all. But I appreciate your keen observation. So if you're trying to play different frequencies through a good subwoofer to see, not through subwoofer, but so far sounds did not produce any result. But that's a good idea because subwoofer produces an actual like felt thing in the body. So maybe something to try for sure. Convince you to re-download Discord. Well, I'm glad. I appreciate you guys like it. Wait, I'm going through the comments. Hold on. Perspective of all the denominations. You have to convert you have to convert everyone. It's silly to think we are the most advanced civilization have lived. No, of course we're not. Do you have much about the new Microsoft quantum chip? Uh, I know enough about it. If you're talking about the glyphs that people talking about, that never happened. That's just simply incorrect. Let's see. Orthodoxy is the best perspective of all denominations. Sure, to each his own. Thank you so much. I'm getting to the end of it. The Does your cultural background make you feel in touch position to talk about the code? No, not at all. I was never attached to any cultural position. I appreciate you, macaroni. Exactly, be your best self. First time friend tried a molecule. He said he banged a bunch of alien. He was crying. And I asked him what happened. And he was like, it was the most beautiful thing. That is very funny. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Glad you like it, Harley. Nature loves courage. Gotta love Terrence. That's my favorite, one of my favorite clips by Terrence. I appreciate you brought it up. Terrence and Sasha, one of the greats. The greats. Oh, talking in Romania. That was a really good one, and the one that Terrence talks to um, Ram Dass. That was also a really good one in Budapest, I think. You know your stuff. That's a very kind of like more obscure conversation with Sasha in Romania. I'm impressed. If you get live a good life, you may not know God per se, but God will know you, in my opinion. Yeah, but I think at a certain point you will also know God. Pretty sure about that. I hope you didn't do Imperial College of London. My friend group was asked to do. Wait, you. It jumped on me. Oh, it got me. Boston is great. What is your ethnicity? I'm not sure. I mean, what is that? I don't. I was born in Russia. Does that help? I mean, I'm an American now. I was born in Russia. I grew up in Israel, and I lived in America since 2006. The way that I identify, I guess the closest thing I feel to be, because I love it, is I'm an American. So I see myself as an American, identify myself as an American. I am an American, and I love this country. I don't know, because usually when people ask what is your ethnicity, it usually means some kind of ties that people feel, like cultural ties. I don't feel any of that. I just see myself as an American, proud being an American, and love this country. That's the closest thing that I have to like national pride of any kind. Nobody wrote the code down. Come join our Discord. We have a bunch of that stuff on Discord. Microsoft chip is like the recent pyramid discovery. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of that stuff, guys. Prepare. There's gonna be so much nonsense coming in the next couple of years. There's gonna be infinite nonsense because of AI, because of that stuff. People are gonna both make shit up all the time and sell a bunch of books by making that shit up, and there's gonna be genuine confusion because people would be better and better at fooling everybody. Do you ever wonder why the laser does it? I heard an answer. They were very clear that they cannot say. Their whole point is you got to figure it out. He was a virgin. Interesting, Sasha's reluctance of disassociatives. I just, from what I remember, he just said that he kind of found it empty. But I think that's the point of it, though. Can't I mean K can be a very, very effective tool. They haven't. I don't know what that means, macaroni. Say people don't like what you're doing. They haven't for us. I don't know what that is. Do you think the orbs people were seeing were military or made up shit? It's definitely, from everything I've seen so far, it's not even ships. It's just lights from the ground. Like all the stuff that I've seen, They're just literally lights projected from the ground that move really fast, like this, like a Batman sign, just without the Batman thing. That's literally what it is. Okay. Yeah, EEG doing sessions definitely on the list. We're definitely going to be doing that very soon. Do with a fractal or whatever has never rang more true. I've been playing with that sort of thing lately. Worth checking. Google would understand. Google would. Yeah. Interesting. My Aphantasia, yeah, definitely have inner dialogue. I actually don't believe that anybody doesn't have an inner dialogue. I know that there were claims made, but I think what's happening there is that they're just not aware that there's the inner dialogue because it's part of the crackling of the linguistic centers of the brain, and if that doesn't work, it shouldn't work at all. So if it works at all, it works all the time, which means that the only logical explanation is that these people are just not aware that it's happening or they don't recognize it as such. That's the much more likely explanation. Okay, so today, by the way, this is great turn up today, guys. I really appreciate you, but I'm gonna have to jump off. Oh no, I got stuck on TikTok. Man. Oh, there we go. We're unstuck on TikTok. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to jump off today, but thank you so much everybody for this. If you want to follow me across platforms, you'll be Danny Goller on TikTok and on Instagram. It'll be Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. Go check out my conversation with Eddie Bravo on Rumble, and in 2 weeks is gonna be out on YouTube on Eddie's channel. Look into it. You just Google Eddie Bravo YouTube channel and it will come up. Thank you so much for showing up. Come join our Discord, which is listed on our YouTube channel on Dango Thoughts on YouTube. The third link from the top on the main page on the YouTube channel. You can find our Discord. It's a great community of wonderful people that are exchanging ideas. Come join that. Come join our membership program on YouTube. It helps the project tremendously, and it includes Zoom calls with me. It includes weekly lives. Aside from the daily lives, they are for members only, so we can focus on a lot more things, and we can kind of watch videos and exchange ideas. And it includes early access to all my content, and it includes private things from my life that will exist nowhere else but on YouTube members. So come join our membership program. Yeah, thank you so much for my mods and for the people who contribute their time. Usually they're the same people: Ebony, love you; Chris, Jessica, Bradley, Carter, Nico, part of the team, love you, brother; and all the regulars that are always showing up and gifting and loving and asking, and Evil Icon and Sofa King, and who some of our regulars here. My Brighton, appreciate you guys. Mushroom, Breezy Brown, Delano, thank you so much, my Brighton, and thank you everybody for joining from X. It's always exciting to watch people coming from X and also from Twitch once in a while. So thank you everybody for making this community what it is. I really appreciate you, and I will see you all tomorrow. Great times. Peace and love, everyone. Ciao. Have a good night, guys.